Hi kids. Hello Karina. How are you doing Karina Mataji?
Good, Mataji. Hare
Good.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very good to
Mataji,
see you.
good news for Karina. Actually, she got a baby. It's cousin.
Cousin.
Yeah. Cousin. I know. Very
Usually we call him Satu, but really his name, I don't really know what we're saying, putting his name as, but usually we'll call him Vahin.
Bahan.
Yeah,
Sister.
Vahin Nitai Mohan.
Bahan Nitai Mohan. Oh, good.
Kartik Prabhu was like, wow.
Okay. Yeah. Kartik Prabhu, so if Renuka Mataji, are you around? Then Shuja Mataji can start the craft, or I can teach them the Jiva Jago, the rest of the bhajan, if Renuka Mataji is.
Yeah, Mataji, you go according to your schedule, Mataji.
So very here's our agenda for today. We can definitely start off with the bhajan, the Jeev Jago bhajan, and once that is done, we will go through Lord Kapila's life history, everything that Lord Kapila, and then after that, we will, instead of the art class, what we are going to do is we are going to discuss about the plans for the Sri Ram Navami celebrations that we are going to have, and the upcoming competitions that the kids are going to have. So we'll get some inputs and feedback from the kids on it. And then later on, we will conclude it with the Kahoot. So right now, I'm just finalizing a few questions on Kahoot. So if you can continue with the Ethan, in the meantime, I'll try to wrap that up and we'll get started off with the presentation. Does it sound good, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Okay.
So Prabhuji, will I start the bhajan now?
Yes, Didi, you can start.
Okay.
You already told.
Yeah, Prabhuji, can you give me the co-host? Can I
Oh,
share my screen?
sure.
Yeah, I can.
You can.
Okay, kids, can you see the screen, my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you remember the bhajan, the first two paragraphs, 1 and 2, you already learned. So can you, Hanshita, can you try singing the bhajan, Jivo Jago? Hanshita? No?
No, I can't.
Who wants? Tejas Krishna, where
I
are
don't
you?
know.
Or
Mataji, I
Rama?
do not know where he is.
Hmm?
Mataji, I see his screen right now. He is not on his screen. I do not know where in the world
Okay,
he. Oh, there he
Salalita.
is.
Yeah,
Yes, there he
Salalita,
is.
start. Salalita, unmute yourself and start Jiva Jago Bhajan.
Jiva jago, Gaura Chandra bole, Kotane trajamu maya, Visaji ragole.
Wow. Then next paragraph.
I only know that.
Okay, Tejas Krishna, the very good. Sai Lalita, very good job. Give a big hand to Sai Lalita. Now Tejas Krishna. Second paragraph. Start. Krishna.
Yeah.
Start.
Jiva jago, Gaura chanda bole, Kota nidra jao maya, Pesa chir kole, Bajibo bolia ese, Samsara bitare, Bulia rohile tumi, Avidyar bare.
Then.
Tomara lo
Okay.
lo-
So I'm singing the third paragraph. So the same melody and the words are different. তোমারে লইতে আমি হইনু অবতার, আমি বিনা বন্ধু আরো কে আছে তোমার। So Lord Chaitanya is telling here that because of you I became the avatar and came to this Kali Yuga. So I'm the best friend of you. So that's the meaning of third stanza. তোমারে লইতে আমি হইনু অবতার, আমি বিনা বন্ধু আরো কে আছে তোমার। বন্ধু means friend. এনেছি অসধি মায়া নাশিবারো লাগি, হরি নাম মহামন্ত্র লাও তুমি মাগি। এনেছি ঔষধি মায়া নাশিবারো লাগি, হরি নাম মহামন্ত্র লাও তুমি মাগি। Who wants to try? Tisha? Lakshay? You wants to try, Lakshay? Lakshay?
Paragraph 3.
Yes.
Tomare
তোমারে
lote ami hone
হইনু অবতার,
hovino avatara
আমি
ami bina
বন্ধু আরো
bandhu aro ke
কে আছে
ache tomara.
Very good. Number 4. Who wants to try? Number 4. Karina?
I think someone else should go, Mataji.
Why? Why not? I'll sing with you.
If you can hear in the background, baby was crying, so I couldn't
Oh,
not
baby
hear well.
was crying. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Who else? Shitij. Can you turn on your video and unmute yourself and sing for us? Ribol. Where is Shitij gone? Okay, so
Mataji, kids are sleeping these days.
I think so.
Yeah.
They're studying hard. I
Yes.
understand.
They're on
Last 2
weekends.
months of the last 2 months of school. Okay,
Only
so
a
I'm
few
singing.
days
So
to go.
I'll post the recording, kids. So I know it is little hard for you, but to please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we should learn this bhajan, right? So I will post this bhajan recording, and then you can learn. Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. So I think you can discuss with about our Ram Navami celebration?
Yes. 1 second, okay, I'm just trying to. Okay, kids, thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, kids. I'd like to make a couple of announcements today about how we are going to celebrate our Ramanavami. Can does anybody know when we are going to celebrate Ram Navami this month?
Sometime in April, I think.
So April 21st is Sri Ramanavami, and we are going to celebrate it during that weekend, which is most likely on 24th of April. Yes, Lakshay.
Is that when is that for Lord Ram?
Yes.
Is it his birthday or the day he killed Ravana?
No, it's the day when he was incarnated.
The way when he comes back from Vanasa?
Yes. So the day when he was he's been coronated as the king of Ayodhya after, he gets back killing Ravan.
So he came back on April 21st?
Not, not exactly on April 21st, but usually during this time of the year, this is the time, like when did Lord Ramchandra appear? Does anybody know? How many years ago did he appear? So
10,000?
did Lord Ram appear before Krishna or Krishna appeared before Ram?
Before Krishna and
Krishna.
Yes. So
didn't wasn't Lord Rama born in the Treta Yuga?
yes. So Lord Ramchandra was born in Treta Yuga, and then came the Dwapar Yuga when Krishna was born. So in so the Lord Ramchandra appeared millions of years ago, and but still, as of today, we are still celebrating, the presence of Lord Ramchandra because every time around this time of the year, we are celebrating Lord Ramchandra's birthday. We call it as Ram Navami. So on the Navami means like the ninth day. So of our 15-day cycle of like the lunar and the lunar calendar that we follow. So on that auspicious day, we are celebrating, Lord Ramachandra being coronated as the king of Ayodhya. So we, in a lot of temples, they do Lord Rama and Sita's wedding as well. They call it as Kalyanam. So they do that ceremony also like in a lot of temples. So that is a very auspicious day. I mean, we all have to pray to Lord Ramchandra, just the way how Hanuman has become a very like perfect devotee of Lord Ramachandra. We all have to pray that we also become the devotees of Lord Krishna and Lord Rama. Okay, so that's the purpose of celebrating Ram Navami. And I'm going to share with you all an invite that I have created, which haven't shared yet with everybody. So just give me a second. All right. I am going to share my screen. I will share this with all of you once we are done with this class. But as you may see, we are going to have two contests for the kids for on the eve of Ram Navami. One is the coloring contest, and the other is spiritual dress video contest. So I don't know if you remember during Janmashtami, we have conducted like the coloring contest as well as a spiritual like fancy dress kind of a competition. So this year we are planning to celebrate the festival at a park. So if you all, if you can make it to the park in person, then that would be great. But if not, then we, in order to accommodate those who may not be able to come attend the festival in person, we are arranging in a way that we actually allow them to do a recording or video recording of their spiritual dress. So you just have to, you know, even tomorrow or day after tomorrow or next week, you can get ready like in one of the any avatar. Like you can get dressed up as Hanuman, you can get dressed up or as Lord Ramchandra, you can get dressed up as Mother Sita.
Can we get dressed up as Sita?
Sorry, Hansita?
Can we get dressed up as
Yeah,
Sita?
yeah. That's what Prabhuji is saying. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And any of our, you know, like any of our spiritual characters, you know, it could be any of the characters that are closer to your heart and that we have been studying over the past few weeks, whether it's like one of the Dashavatars. If you want to get ready as like one of the Dashavatars, you can get dressed up like one of the Dashavatars. Or if you want to get ready dressed up as like uh, the Mahajanas that we discussed, like Narad Muni or Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva, it's up to you. It's your choose. You can choose uh, what you want to get dressed up as, but it has to be one of the characters that we have gone through in the past so many weeks, or you know, related to Lord Ramchandra. Okay, and so you have sufficient time for that. And what we are going to do is I'm going to send a registration form along with this invite in the kids group, and I request all your parents, you know, you can tell to your parents, talk to your parents, discuss what you want to do. And we are going to group them by two different age groups. Group A is 4 to 9 years and group B is 10 to 15 years. And from each group, both for the coloring contest and the spiritual fancy dress video contest, we're going to pick 3 winners. And the rules associated with the video contest, like, you know, how long the length of the video has to be. And the recommendation is that instead of just you know, standing there or giving a pose, if you can talk something about this about the spiritual character that you got dressed up, I think that would be wonderful. So we may give like 1 minute at the max for you to talk about him, or like sing one of the bhajans or kirtans. Let's say if you don't have anything to talk, you can do one kirtan or some bhajan that you have been learning over the past few weeks. Okay, so that should be the content of that video. You can have your parents record that, and all these submissions need to come to us by April 18th. I'll send more information on that, but for now I just thought of giving you all a heads up that there is a contest and we are going to choose the top 3 winners, and they're going to get some special prizes. And to all those who are going to participate, we are going to give the certificates. Okay, so it's not just you. I know we don't have a lot of kids today, but if you know of other kids who may have attended our programs earlier but have not regularly been attending, I would definitely request you to spread this message to your friends and encourage them to participate as well. Okay?
Prabhuji,
Yes.
when you said that all submissions need to be by 18th April, my birthday's on the 18th.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Advanced
Happy birthday.
to you, Krisha.
Thank you.
Mhm. Yes, Lakshay Prabhu. Yes.
And since we have to submit all of the like the coloring of the video by April 18th, are we supposed to do it by like Gmail or what?
Yeah. I will talk, you know, I'm going to send a separate email to, like, you know, once we receive all the registrations by end of next week, like, which is by April 10th is the last day to register. So once you decide that whether you want to submit for coloring or whether you want to participate in the spiritual dress contest, or if you want to participate in both the contests, you can send you fill the registration form and send it to me. And I'm going to send a separate email to all those who have registered, and I'll talk about the rules and whatnot in that. Okay. So is everybody excited about Ram Navami contest?
Yes.
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 Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, so this is something that I wanted to share with you all before we get into the main topic for today. All right. So can somebody tell what are we going to talk today? Or whom are we going to talk about today?
Kapil Muni.
Kapila Muni. That is correct. So I'm going to start sharing my screen and let's get started off with the presentation. Okay. Yes. All right. Can you all see the presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So out of the 12 Mahajanas that we have, can somebody tell who were the 4 Mahajanas that we have already discussed?
I know.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Brahma
Uh-huh.
and Brahma, Narada,
Okay,
Narada, Shiva.
okay, stop there, Tejas. So let's give the opportunity to one of the other kids. So you told Lord Brahma, you said Lord Shiva, and then you said Narad Muni. And who is the 4th one that we discussed? Or who are the 4 ones that we discussed?
Can I say something?
Yes, uh, yeah, Karina.
Okay. The last one, the 4 Kumaras.
That is correct. Okay. And today we are going to discuss about the 5th Mahajana, which is Lord Kapila Dev. So as we always pray, so that we understand about him in the right way, let's all say 3 times, Kapila Dev ki jai.
Jai,
Kapila Dev ki jai. Kapila Dev ki jai. Okay. All right. So that's the one who is sitting on the chair is Kapil Dev. And if you notice, did somebody notice he has got golden hair? You see that? If you notice, yes. So Kapil Dev actually he has golden hair. When he was born, he was born with golden hair. So let's move on. Okay. So Kapila Deva is none other than the Supreme Lord himself. And he took birth as Kapila Muni to give transcendental knowledge to the entire humanity. And when I say transcendental knowledge, it means spiritual knowledge about the Supreme Lord. So he appeared as Kapila Muni to remove the darkness of ignorance, the darkness of ignorance that is caused in this age of where people are like totally focused on material centric lifestyle. So he wanted to educate and give the principles of how to um, grow in our spiritual life, and he set an example by giving us all those wonderful teachings. And it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. I want you all to focus on today's presentation so that way you can participate and get some good score in today's Kahoot. Okay. So you see in Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter 26th verse, when Lord Krishna was having a conversation with Arjuna, Krishna was telling to Arjuna like who he is. And in this sloka, the 10th chapter 26th sloka, Krishna tells to Arjuna that of all the trees I am the banyan tree, and of all the sages I am the among the demigods I am Narada, and of all the Gandharvas I am Chitraratha, and among the perfected beings I am the sage Kapila. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna was referencing that who he was. So in fact, Krishna himself appeared as sage Kapila, and he appeared to give us the transcendental knowledge. Now, I just want to, explain a small story, about how Kapila Muni took birth. So Kapila Muni's father's name was Kardama Muni, or also called as Maharshi Kardama. So Kardama Muni was the son of Lord Brahma, and he was doing a lot of penances. And like you all wonderful kids, he was always obeying the order of his father and parents. So Lord Brahma instructed Kardama Muni, which is Maharshi Kardama, to do a lot of penance and chanting, and he did it for like more than 10,000 years. And again, Kardama Muni belonged to Satya Yuga, like the first age, and right now we are in Kali Yuga. So in those Satya Yuga, people used to live for like thousands and thousands of years. And but unfortunately in this Kali Yuga, people are not even able to live for 100 years. So back in the day, in the Satya Yuga, when Kardama Muni, he was doing a lot of tapasya, for more than 10,000 years, as per the instruction of his father, Lord Brahma. And why, after he did so much of penance, Lord Vishnu appeared in front of Kardama Muni, and he said, "Oh Kardama Muni, I'm so blessed. I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased by your austerities." And he informed Kardama Muni, "Okay, please ask me a boon. What do you want from me?" And Kardama Muni said, "I don't want anything. I just want love and affection of you. I just want devotion towards your lotus feet." And with that answer, Lord Vishnu got so pleased, and he told Kardama Muni that I am going to take birth as your son. And so he just vanished. And then after that, Kardama Muni, Lord Brahma told Kardama Muni that, now that he achieved the goal of his penance and his tapasya, which is seeing Lord Vishnu, then he insisted that to increase the progeny of this world, he wanted him to get married. So Kardama Muni got married to the daughter of the king Swayambhu Manu. And so in those days, there was a king named Swayambhu Manu, and his wife's name was Satarupa. So the king Swayambhu Manu and the queen Satarupa, they had a daughter named Devahuti. She was a very, beautiful princess. And Swayambhu Manu, he was passing by the hermitage of Kardama Muni, and he noticed that Kardama Muni was doing tapas, he was in meditation, deep meditation. So he went there along with his wife and his daughter, and then he told Kardama Muni, and the Kardama Muni, as soon as he saw the king, he bowed down to his feet. And the Swayambhu Manu, who is the king, he said that I am here to look for a groom for our daughter to get married to. And the king Swayambhu Manu got so impressed by Maharshi Kardama that he was such a nice person, he was such a nice gentleman. So he thought that his daughter needs to get married to such a nice person so that she'll have a very happy and a peaceful life. So Maharshi Kardama gets married to Devahuti. And after their marriage, for like a few years have passed by, and then they had 9 daughters. So Kapila, Devahuti and Maharshi Kardama had 9 children, and all of them were daughters. And then, in those olden days, when the sages used to reach a certain age, they used to go for sannyasa. When sannyasa means renounced order of life, which means they used to leave like their family responsibilities, and then they used to go to the forest, and they used to go and preach about God, about Krishna, about his pastimes to all the people in general. So that's how people used to, when they reach a certain age, after they are done with their family responsibilities, they used to go and preach the message of the Lord. So at that time, the Maharshi Kardama, he decided to go on a pilgrimage. He decided that I want to take sannyasa. But then he thought that, Devahuti will be all by herself, because their daughters were already grown up. And he was concerned that, eventually, once after a certain age, the parents will get their daughters married to somebody, right? So they know that even though they have 9 daughters, they may not be able to stay with the mother Devahuti. So Kardama Muni and Devahuti had a 10th child, and that's none other than Lord Kapila. The Lord himself has appeared as their 10th child. And the Lord was there to accompany his mother. So after, Kapila Dev has grown up a little bit, then Kardama Muni decided that, okay, let me get let's get my 9 daughters married to 9 wonderful sages. So he gets his daughters married to 9 sages, and then he would tell to Kapila Dev that, because it's my, I'm going to take sannyasa and go to the forest and preach the message of God. Now it is your responsibility to take care of your mother. So Kardama Muni, which is Maharshi Kardama, gives the responsibility of taking care of his wife, who is Devahuti, to his son, Lord Kapila, and then he leaves. Okay, let's move on. Now, Kapila Deva, he actually, there are a few things that I wanted to share about him. So, Kapila Muni, he preached a certain type of a yoga to his mother, Devahuti. So sometimes, you may notice that, parents always teach the children, right? Whom do you learn from? You learn from your mother, you learn from your father, you learn from your elders, you learn from your teachers. That's how, most of us would learn, correct? While we were kids. But in this case, if you may notice, the son of Devahuti, he is sitting on a throne, and then Mother Devahuti is sitting as a student. He, like Kapila Dev is, he's sitting there as a teacher, whereas Mother Devahuti is sitting as a student. Now, when it comes to spiritual life, what is important is we should never think that, hey, this person is such a small kid, so I don't want to listen, anything about like Krishna from him. We shouldn't have such an attitude in our spiritual life. So so therefore, because Mother Devahuti knows that Kapila Dev is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, she understood that he has the best knowledge about spiritual life. And so, therefore, she accepted him as her Shiksha Guru. And she started asking him questions. She started, getting knowledge from Kapila Dev. And as I told you very earlier at the beginning of the class, that the purpose of Kapila Dev is he came to spread the knowledge of the transcendental knowledge of the Lord, and he wants all of us to get rid of the darkness of material ignorance. So that was the purpose. So if you see here, it's a small difference that you may not really see in today's day and age. So even the lesson learned from this episode is that, if let's say you have a younger brother or a younger sister, and if you think that, like if they're talking about Krishna, if they're talking about any spiritual subject, we should listen. We shouldn't say that, hey, you're a small kid, you don't know anything, kind of an attitude. We should always open our ears, and we should respect, no matter whether they are younger to us or whether they are elder to us. We should always obey and listen to what elders or youngers have to say, especially in matters related to the Lord. Okay. All right. So he actually taught something called as Sankhya Yoga. And what is Sankhya Yoga? Sankhya Yoga means the analytical study of the elements of material nature. So, like, for example, how is a human body made up of? Like it's made up of the elements, right? Earth, fire, water, ether. So he discussed about the interaction of those material elements with that of the super soul. So he's in this Sankhya Yoga, he explained what is our relationship with the Supreme Lord, what is this material world, and who are we, the spirit souls, and what is our relationship with the material world and the Supreme Lord. So he spoke about all these different things in Sankhya Yoga, and it's called as Sankhya philosophical system. So I'm going to just read this. It says the analytical study of the elements of material nature and the concentration of the mind upon the super soul are the sum and substance of Sankhya philosophy. So, in other words, what Sankhya Yoga is all about is actually Bhakti Yoga, which means we should continue to do our activities in this material world, but we should always think about Krishna. We should always offer our actions to the lotus feet of Krishna. So, like for example, if you're going to school and taking an exam, you should prepare for your exam. You should, you shouldn't say that, hey, I was preparing for Ramanavami celebration, so that's why I didn't prepare for my studies. No, that shouldn't be the case. You should focus on your education, but in your heart you should think that I am doing this. I'm preparing for my exams, and I want to give my the best in my exams for Krishna, to please Krishna. So that should be the mindset. That should be the thought that you all should have. That everything that you do in your life, whether taking exams or whether cooking boga for Krishna or whatever you do in your life, you should offer that action to the lotus feet of Krishna. Okay, and that's essentially what Lord Kapila was teaching to Mother Devahuti, who was asking a lot of questions. So there was a conversation between both of them. They asked a lot of, Mother Devahuti was asking a bunch of questions, and Kapila Dev was answering, those questions for the benefit of the whole humanity. And for those who may be familiar with Srimad Bhagavatam, it's one of the prominent scriptures that we have, and we have a class every day that Shubha Vilas Prabhu takes for all the devotees. So if you are interested, or if your parents are interested, you can request them to join these classes that happen every day at 8 o'clock in the evening, Eastern Standard Time. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, the first time the appearance of Lord Kapil Dev was narrated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapter 25 through 32. So in this Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam, from chapter 25 to chapter 32, they have given descriptions about the appearance of Lord Kapil Dev, and also the conversations or the teachings that he gave to his mother Devahuti. Okay, and in all those teachings, Kapil Dev has described about what is pure devotional service and how should we engage our body, mind, and senses in the service of the Lord. So that's the essence of Kapila Dev's teachings to his mother Devahuti. And thereby, he's not just teaching Mother Devahuti, but also to all of us. Okay. Does anybody have any questions up until now? Kids, are you there with me?
Yes, Prabhuji. The
Okay.
only thing is we're not answering any questions, but we're on the Zoom. We're not leaving.
Okay, awesome.
I
Yeah.
have a question.
Yes, Trisha.
So my question is, when like in the picture, it's showing that that Kapil Muni's teaching to his mom, but where are they sitting? Because it looks like a castle or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a castle. I think, as you may know, in back in the day, like, in Satya Yuga, even as a matter of fact, like, few hundred years ago, in India, we used to have kings, and kings used to have palaces, and they used to have all these, different decorated. If you can see in this picture, there's these nice walls, and they have been decorated with flowers.
Yeah. So I thought that Kapil Muni's dad was a sage, so I didn't think he lived in a castle.
Well, no, this is not a castle. So, Kapil Muni, you're right. Kapila Muni's father is a sage, and they were living in a hermitage. But when Kapila Muni was giving this instruction, he was, Mother Devahuti was asking questions, and he was, sharing these answers to him. But, this may appear like a castle, but it is still within his hermitage. There is a part of his hermitage that has, like, even if it's a hermitage, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be like not decorated, or it's just made with some wood or so. And like their hermitage was a little well maintained. So that's why
Ah,
the look and feel of it is, you may see as if like it's some sort of a castle, but it's still the hermitage of Kardama Muni.
yeah, and my second question is, did only did only Kapila Muni live in the hermitage, or more sages?
No, it was just Kapila Muni and his mother. They were the ones who were living in the hermitage. And previously, before his father Kardama Muni left and took sannyasa, it was Kardama Muni and Mother Devahuti who were living in that hermitage. And of course, because Kardama Muni was a great sage, he would have a lot of disciples as well. So, like, for in those days, um, like, if somebody has to get trained under a learned scholar or a learned sage, they used to go to their hermitage. So there may be few other disciples of Kardama Muni who were living there and who were taking care of like the cows. Somebody may be taking care of the cows, somebody may be taking care of the kitchen, somebody may be taking care of, like, all of them were helping Mother Devahuti and Kardama Muni, so that they can fulfill their purpose of teaching the message of the Lord. So in this instance, yeah, there could have been some disciples of Kardama Muni who were still living in that hermitage and taking care of that hermitage. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So let's move on to the next slide. I want to cover them a little quick. So as I mentioned, we'll just go through this. So Kardama Muni left for the forest to take sannyasa, which is the renounced order of life, and to go and preach the message of the Lord. And when he left, Lord Kapila was he stayed on the banks of the river named Bindu Sarovar, and he was just sitting there meditating. And when his mother Devahuti saw that, Kapila Dev was sitting on the banks of the river Bindu Sarovar, she when she looked at him, she felt like, oh my, my son, who is none other than the Supreme Lord, he's so effulgent. When the Lord is there, if you can see, there is an aura behind Krishna. It's like a lot of positive energy and a lot of peacefulness that is around him. So the moment she notices Lord Kapil Dev under the banks of river Bindu Sarovar, Mother Devahuti feels, oh Krishna, oh Lord, you appeared as my son. I'm so thankful to you. She expresses her gratitude. And when Kapila, who could show her the ultimate goal of the absolute truth, was sitting leisurely before her, Devahuti remembered the words Lord Brahma had spoken to her, and she therefore began to question Kapila as follows. So, Mother Devahuti, Lord Brahma, who is, can somebody guess who is Lord Brahma? He was the father of?
The dad of the
Ye-
grandpa of Kapila Muni.
Yes, yes, the father of Kardama Muni, or the Maharshi Kardama. So once Lord Brahma appeared in front of Devahuti, and Devahuti was very upset. She was like, "Oh, I'm feeling really bad. I'm getting so materially engrossed, and I'm suffering and all. I don't have enough knowledge, even though my husband, who is Kardama Muni, is such a learned scholar. I'm still not such an elevated person. I'm still materially inclined. I'm not having the taste towards spiritual life and devotion towards the Lord." And she feels really unpleasant, and she expresses in front of Lord Brahma. And then Lord Brahma tells her that, don't worry, Devahuti, your son, Lord Vishnu, appears in your womb as your son, and he will remove all the ignorance that you have, and he will educate you on the matter of spiritual life. So that's what she tells. And the moment, at that moment when she sees Kapila Dev sitting under a tree on the banks of that river, you know Mother Devahuti remembers that conversation that she has with Lord Brahma, and then she starts, she goes in front of Kapila Dev, and she starts questioning him. She starts asking various questions to him. So there is a series of question and answers that are going to happen between Devahuti and her son, Lord Kapila. And Devahuti expresses whatever the questions that she has, and Kapil Dev answers it for all of us. Okay. And the first question that Devahuti asks to Lord Kapila is that she says, Lord Kapila, I'm very sick of the disturbances caused by my material senses. For because of this sense disturbance, my Lord, I have fallen into this ocean of ignorance. And Devahuti also asks, can you explain, Lord Kapila, could you explain about the time factor and how materialistic people get influenced by this time factor? So if you may see on the right side, this image or the picture that you notice, on the first, half on the left side of this quadrant, you see that there is a person who took birth. Okay. So this process of birth is considered, the moment somebody has taken birth, they have so many things that they have to go through in their life, right? So birth, old age, disease, and death, these are the four common problems that anybody who has taken birth on this material planet would suffer: birth, old age, disease, and death. Yes. So if you see, let's read this. This is from Bhagavad Gita 2.8. The problems of material existence, which is birth, old age, disease, and death, cannot be counteracted by accumulation of wealth and economic development. In many parts of the world, there are states which are replete with all facilities of life, which are full of wealth and economically developed, yet the problems of material existence are still present. So what this means is that, somebody may acquire a PhD degree, like top class degree, or somebody may acquire like millions and millions of dollars in their bank account. A classic example, right? In today's day and age, with everything that's happening around us with the COVID and the coronavirus and whatnot, does coronavirus, are the rich people not getting infected by coronavirus? Is it just the normal people or the like poor? Can somebody answer this?
No,
Everyone's getting infected.
Everybody.
Everyone's getting infected. It's not because that they're rich or they're poor. It's because if they're like it's
Yes.
because if they're taking care of their life or they're not taking care of their life.
Yes, so it doesn't matter whether they're rich people or bad poor people, whether it's young person or an old person, whether they are like the president of a country or a normal citizen of the country. Coronavirus is not differentiating, right? The virus is attacking everyone. So just because somebody has righteous, just because somebody is smart and intelligent, it doesn't mean that they are getting rid of the material, like the problems caused due to this material existence. No matter who you are, no matter how intelligent, how smart, how healthy, how rich you may be, you like those every human being is going to suffer these three problems, which is birth, old age, disease, and death. These are inevitable. So what this means is that in today's day and age, everybody is running behind, oh, I want to get good grades, I want to be like, I want to become a millionaire and all. So our motivation for studying should not be about making millions of dollars. Our motivation should be to gain knowledge. We should always gain knowledge, and then we should we should use that knowledge again as an offering to the Lord. So for example, if somebody becomes a pilot, let's say if Karina becomes a pilot after, she grows up. Now when she's flying, she is required to get all that knowledge to safely fly the aeroplane. But in her heart, she should always think that when she's flying the plane or when she wants to become a pilot, she should always think within her heart that, oh Krishna, I want to take people, or I want to take devotees or people from one place to another place, and I want to do this as a service to your lotus feet. Now if she has a thought process, then all her material actions and aspirations will turn spiritual. Okay.
Prabhuji, I never thought of being a pilot, but now that I'm thinking of it, it sounds like a good idea.
No, I was just quoting an example. I mean, who knows? You may become a scientist, you may become a doctor, you may become the best of everything out there. So yeah, I was just quoting an example. So what I mean to say is that we should always focus on gaining knowledge, but not focus on making money and like, oh, I want to grow my money, I want to be rich and all. That shouldn't be our motivation. We should always gain knowledge, and we should offer the whatever we get out of that knowledge, we should offer it as a service to the Lord. Okay. Now moving on. So as I said, these were some of the questions that were asked, and this is one of the other things. So Devahuti was asking Lord Kapila Dev that I'm suffering a lot in this material world, and as I just discussed, those sufferings that I earlier mentioned were like those four sufferings, like the birth, old age, disease, and death. Now those four things, sometimes it's not always that a person is suffering only with those four things. Like, consider somebody who is at a young age, he is not, he doesn't have any disease, let's say, he's very healthy and he's really perfect. Okay. He's not going through those four things like birth or old age, or he's not going through death, or he's not going through any disease. Now, can we guarantee that that person who is not going through those four things will be happy and peaceful?
No.
No. For example, it is mentioned in our scriptures that there are these, the miseries are caused by three different things. One is we call it as adhyatmic, which means those miseries which arise from the mind and the body, and adi bhautik, which means those miseries inflicted by other living beings. And in this case, like, the coronavirus, it is getting, in fact, everybody's getting impacted by that, right? And then the third is adi daivik. Those miseries are arising from natural calamities over which one has no control. Like, for example, hurricanes, right? Now, the person could be the healthiest person, the person could be the happiest person, but suddenly if there is a hurricane, and like sometime back a few years ago, everybody here in Florida have experienced the hurricane. I forgot the name, I think Irma. And we all had to evacuate this city, and we all had to run up north. Now that's a problem, right?
I wasn't here that time.
Okay. But I'm just giving as an example, like, what are the natural calamities that we all go through, like hurricanes and earthquakes and, the fires on there's so many sort of natural things that happen around us, right? Now, those, we don't have any control of those, but those are the pains that every human being has to go through, whether you like it or not. And then, the miseries caused by other living beings, sometimes some XYZ person may say something to you, and you may feel hurt, right? And so it's not just like the natural things that will cause impact, but people may also create a lot of misery to us, right? And in the same way, our own body and our own mind, if we don't train ourselves in spiritual life, then our mind will also bother us. Like, how many of you have stress of exams? How many of you have stress of uh, like get worried about heights? Sometimes people are like, oh, if they go to a musical or a theme park, they don't want to go onto the rides because they have scared about heights, right? So your mind is telling you that, oh, if it's a high, if you go to a ride, then you will go through a lot of stress. So like there are different sorts of miseries that a person is going through, and these are like different causes. And this is what Devahuti was mentioning, that these are different types of miseries that we are encountering. What is the solution for that? So, and then um, Lord Kapil Dev answers to that question. He says, people engaged in material consciousness doesn't know the powerful time factor by which he's getting carried away. When one is completely cleansed of the impurities of lust, anger, greed, envy, and jealousy, produced from the false identification of the body as I and bodily possessions as mine, one's mind becomes purified. In that pure state, he transcends the stage of material happiness and distress. So, in other words, what is being said is that the lust, anger, greed. I mean, how many of us feel jealous if somebody has, like, let's say if somebody has got a new bike. Let's say I'm talking as an example, and we have an old bike and they've got a new bike. Some people, I mean, you all are amazing kids, you all are kid devotees, so you don't have that jealous. But some other people, like who are not attending the classes, or who do not have the knowledge of devotional life, sometimes they may feel jealous, like, hey, look at my friend, they will go to their parents and say that, mama, my friend got a new bike. I want a new bike. And they would start crying in front of their parents. Now that's like, it's not jealousy, but it's like you're like getting attracted by what others have. And that's not what a devotee has to. Like, we should always be happy with what we have, and we should always be thankful to Krishna for what our parents are giving us. And we should always try to live a peaceful and a happy life, okay, and which is devoid of lust, anger, greed, envy, and jealous. I mean, sometimes we may become angry on our parents. Sometimes we may become angry on our sisters or brothers because they did something mischievous. So, what we all need to practice, I mean, including me, is that we should try to reduce all these bad qualities or impurities, which will not make us, peaceful and happy. Okay. So on the right side, on the image, you may see there are three gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane or an intelligent man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is clearly saying that anybody who has lust, anger, and greed, they will fall down, and they will never grow up in their spiritual life, and they will never be happy.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Trisha.
when you said that some people are afraid of heights, my friend, she was afraid when balloons would pop, like when someone would pop them, they make that pop noise, and she used to be afraid of that. So when my friends had a birthday party, they had a balloon popping game, and they made sure that my friend was in the room, and they popped balloons in front of her so she would get used to it. Now she's not afraid of them.
That's good. That's good. So in the example that I mentioned is more in terms of, like, the pains that, or the miseries that we all go through, which are created within our mind. In the example that you mentioned, what was the main difference? It's just that she got used to it, right? So which means, like, it's within her mind. So it's the same balloons that were popped earlier, the same balloons that were popped now, and there's the same sort of a sound. But earlier she was fearful about the sound, and now she's not, because she's kind of getting used to that. So all these emotions are going within her mind. They are not externally happening, right? So that's one sort of a pain that people go through mentally, that we have all these things going on in our head. I mean, like stress. In today's day and age, everybody is like concerned. Oh, I want to wear a mask, I want to go, I mean, I'm scared to go out because Even though I wear a mask, there are people who are not wearing masks. So like, who knows, they may have COVID, and they may catch it. And so there's so much of mental tension that we all are going in our day-to-day lives. And the reason why we are going through is because we took this human form of life. And our goal has to be that we should get out of this cycle of birth and death, and we should go back to Godhead, which is back to Krishna's abode. So the examples that are given by Kapila Muni is that to cleanse our heart, from these impurities of lust, anger, and greed. And in this, in this example, Kapila Muni is saying the symptoms, we should try to become like a sadhu or a sage. And what are the symptoms of a sage? The symptoms of a sage are that he's very tolerant, he's very merciful and friendly to all the living entities. And he has no enemies, he's always peaceful, he lives his life according to the scriptures, and he has all his characteristics are sublime. You see those amazing words about a sage, or how somebody, how we should all aspire to become. We all should aspire to become sadhu or sages. And we should be tolerant. Like, for example, if somebody is doing something really bad, of course we should go away from those people. But at the same time, we should be tolerant as well. We shouldn't react. I mean, a lot of times when somebody creates some trouble to you, you suddenly react. You become anger, you'll be like, hey, what's wrong with you, why are you doing this, kind of a thing. Instead, we should be tolerant. We should go to them, we should talk to them. Hey, what you're doing, it's causing disturbance to me. Please don't do this. This is not good for you, nor good for me. And they will have a small conversation with them, and they will deal with it very peacefully. So they won't have, and at the same time, they're always merciful, meaning they forgive. If somebody does something wrong to you, what would you normally do? You will stop talking to that person, or you will wish something bad for that person because that person did something to you. But a sadhu or a really good devotee, they will never think about bad for anybody. Even if the other person has done something wrong or bad, they will always wish for their good, and they will always be peaceful. They will always pray to Krishna. Oh Krishna, this person is behaving like this, please change him. That's how a devotee has to pray for others, and that's how they should forgive others as well. So, and that's exactly what Kapila Muni is teaching Mother Devahuti. Okay. And the other thing, what you all can do, what I can do, we should always, the way we can achieve, or we can try to become sadhu, is by always associating with the Supreme Lord in the form of his Vani, by hearing. So whenever we hear about Krishna, we are associating with Krishna, in the form of his kirtans, or in the form of his lectures. So today, you all are like, this past 1 hour that you all are spending, you all are listening about Lord Kapil Dev. This is nothing but you are trying to become sadhus. You're trying to slowly follow the footsteps of what Kapil Dev is teaching all of us. And if not today, someday in the future, we are going to become, just exemplary, sadhus, the way how Kapil Dev wants all of us to be, or the way how Krishna wants all of us to be. And so the way we can achieve this is by, listening to the kirtans, attending the spiritual programs, attending the festivals, participating in services, listening to what your parents are telling you. These are different things that we all can do to become like, the pure souls, like sadhus. Okay. And that's what Lord Kapil Dev was teaching his mother. And in this way, by doing all these things, we can get rid of all these bad or impurities in us, like lust, anger, greed, and all those miseries that we are suffering as a human being. We will get rid of those miseries. Krishna will come and take away all those miseries from us, and we will always be happy and peaceful serving him. Okay. And again, just because somebody is in the path of devotional service doesn't mean that they may not have sufferings. As I told you, in this material world, if anybody takes birth, They will have to suffer. They will go through these miseries. But a bold devotee, a pure devotee of the Lord, he will face every challenge that is thrown at his face. He will think that, oh Krishna, please give me the power to tackle this situation in my life. I'm encountering this challenging phase in my life. Please help me to get over this. Give me that energy, give me that strength, mental strength, physical strength, spiritual strength, emotional strength. So that's how a devotee would think. They will not run away from the problems. They will fight, and they will offer every activity that they do as an offering to the lotus feet of the Lord. Okay, let's move on. Um, Teachings of Lord Kapila Dev. So, as I mentioned to you in the previous slide about some of the solutions that Lord Kapila has said, it says, offer everything you do as a service to Krishna. So, I already spoke to you about this. So the only way to transcend this material nature is to do everything for Krishna and to associate with saintly people. So like, just the way how we all are associating now, you all are saintly people, you all want to know about Krishna, you want to develop your love and affection towards the Lord. You all are very such amazing kids, you all are so blessed. And we are happy, I mean, Matajis, and we feel very inspired by all of you. And so this association of devotees is very important, because we learn about a lot of things, we learn about great things about Krishna, and then slowly we start implementing them in our life, and then we make our life peaceful and happy. Okay, so all right, so the conclusion, I want to conclude. So this human life is very rare, and even more rare is getting the association of devotees and Krishna. So we should not waste our life and time in sense gratification and materialistic life. Our founder Acharya, His Grace Srila Prabhupada, has said that we all should take this human life as an emergency. Like, for example, if somebody is suffering, right? Like, for example, if somebody met with an accident on the road, then somebody, like, what would somebody do when somebody met with an accident? They will call
911.
Call 911, and the 911 will bring like the emergency services. So the emergency vehicle will come, they will quickly rush, take the person, and they'll take, they turn on those lights and the sirens, and then they quickly take him to the hospital, so that he takes, so that he's taken care of, right? So in the same way, because that person is injured, uh, the emergency vehicles have come and taken him. And when emergency vehicles come, all the other vehicles on the road will stop, correct?
Yeah.
And they will give the way for the emergency vehicle. So in the same way, as we discussed in the previous verses, we all are actually going through, some sort of an injury or a material, suffering. As we were born on this planet as human beings, we all are going through this material suffering. And so therefore, Prabhupada is saying that, okay, we should we should get into that emergency vehicle and then go to Krishna. And how is it possible? Only by following the message of Krishna, and more importantly, by chanting. Everybody, please chant along with me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
and be happy. So
Happy
on
anytime and anywhere.
Yes. So on the right side, you can see, like a family, where the father is doing bhajans, and the mother is doing kirtans, and the son is also like, dancing along with this father. So that is how we also have to live our life. So kids, there's a task for all of you. Okay. You should ask your mom and dad, like, next week when we meet, I request you all to please go and talk to your mom and dad that, okay, can we sit for like 5 minutes in this whole week and sit in front of Krishna and do a bhajan, and and do a kirtan, or you can play a kirtan on your phone if you're not able to do, and then just dance to the kirtan, just the way how this family is doing. Can you all do that task?
Yeah, I even do my own kirtan sometimes.
That's wonderful. So that's the way to go. I mean, and that's what Kapil Dev has taught all of us, that we should chant and we should follow the association of devotees and do all the right things. And by doing that, we will get rid of all these material miseries that we are going through. Okay. All right. So everybody, if say 3 times Hari Bol to Kapil Dev, or in fact Kapil Dev ki jai. Okay, let's 3 times say Kapil Dev ki jai, and I'll take questions after that. Okay. Kapila Dev ki
Yay!
Kapila Dev
Jai.
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 So
All right.
everybody, Kartik Prabhu ki.
Yay!
Yeah, Prabhuji, you explained very well. Thank you, Prabhuji.
You-
Prabhuji, a quick question: do we have a Kahoot for them or not? This.
Actually, I do have a Kahoot for them, but like I prepared only 60% of the questions, and there's remaining 40% questions are still not.
Okay, okay. Then you can give them some time for preparation. Next week they can do, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Besides Prabhuji, I'm sure many people have left by now. It's been a long time.
No,
What-
Karina, only one person left.
Yeah, only one person left.
Here's what we can do. Okay, I have prepared the questions. I have around 10 questions or 11 questions. So I think I still have like maybe another 6 or 7 questions to be added. In the interest of time, and more importantly, in the interest of our kids, wonderful kid devotees, let's get to Kahoot and let's just do this. Whatever we have up until now, we'll do those questions, and the next week we'll complete. We'll do the whole thing again. Okay.
Prabhuji, can you wait for like 5 minutes?
Prabhuji, I don't think we have that much time, Prabhuji. Because it's already 5:50.
Yeah, Prabhu. I think we have time until 6 o'clock. So if kids,
Yeah. We have to make sure at least finish before 6, Prabhuji, not exactly at 6.
yeah,
Last time also. Okay, your wish, but make sure that we complete before 6, Prabhuji.
yeah, sure, Prabhu. I'll wrap it up by 6. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, kids, please bring your gadgets. And unfortunately, Twisha, I cannot wait for 5 minutes. Why did you request for 5 minutes, by the way?
My mom was calling me to do something.
Okay, right. So can you ask your mom that you will be engaged in a quiz? It's not going to take more than 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll tell her.
Okay, kids, I am hoping that you all got your gadgets. It's not going to take a long time. Most likely it may take 5 minutes at the max. Okay, here's the PIN number. I'm sharing my screen with you all.
I don't think you're sharing, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I'm about to share.
Oh, now. Okay, now.
Yeah. Now you can see.
It's 8836058. You just have 12 questions for now. So we're going to get started. I'll just give like 40 seconds for all of you.
Prabhuji, I went on Google Images and I got a picture of Krishna, and then I took a picture of it and I made it my virtual background for your screen.
Wonderful. So do we have all the kids on? Or are you still waiting for somebody more of you to join?
There's only 5 people in, and there's like 12 people.
Okay, kids, I'm gonna start in 10 more seconds. I don't know who Stellar Otter 76 is, but Karina has just joined. So Karina, Twisha, I believe NASA is Rama, I believe. Lakshay, Lalita, Krishna, Sai Lalita has joined, Krishna. Okay, let's get started, because nobody has asked me to stop or wait. So I'm going to go ahead. Okay, Hansita has just joined. I think somebody else has dropped. I don't know who it was. Okay, KS has joined. We have 8 of us. So let's get started. Okay, Lord Kapila.
I think Lakshay is missing.
He was in. He was the first person.
Okay, the quiz has begun, kids. Who is Lord Kapila? Is it incarnation of Lord Krishna, incarnation of Lord Brahma, incarnation of Lord Shiva, or none of the above? Wonderful. It is the incarnation of Lord Krishna. That's Lord Kapil Dev. Okay, Lakshay, Karina, Nasa, Krishna, and Twisha are on top 5. Let's go to question number 2. The Supreme Lord took birth as Lord Kapila to give dash knowledge to the human race. Material knowledge, scientific knowledge, transcendental knowledge, or spiritual? Wow, you all got this correct. Wonderful. Let's move to the next question. Question number 3. In what verse of Bhagavad Gita does Krishna mention about Lord Kapila? Is it 10.26, 11.26, 5.26, or 7.12?
I actually forgot. I'm just guessing.
The right answer
Got
is
it correct, and I still guessed too. Me too. I guessed and I got it correct.
wonderful. That's 10.26 verse. That's where Krishna talked about Lord Kapil Dev. Okay, the question number 4. Who is the father of Lord Kapila? Sage Valmiki, Sage Jamadagni, Maharshi Kardama, Maharshi Vyasa. Who? Yes, the right answer is Maharshi Kardama. He is the father of Lord Kapil Dev. Okay, the question number 5. Who is the mother of Lord Kapila? Devaki, Devahuti, Devayani, none of the above. Yes, the right answer is Devahuti.
Was
Okay.
Devayani a real person?
Yes, yes. Okay, here's the next question. Who is the father of Devahuti or the grandfather of Lord Kapila? Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Swayambhu Manu? Yes, the right answer is Swayambhu Manu. Wonderful, kids. You're doing great today. Okay, let's moving on to question number 7. How many sisters did Lord Kapila have? 11, 10, 9, or 7? Perfect. 9 is the right answer. Question number 8. What yoga did Lord Kapila teach his mother Devahuti? Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, or Gnana Yoga? Perfect. That's the right answer is Sankhya Yoga. Analytical study. All right, so let's move on to question number 9. Which canto of Srimad Bhagavatam talks about Lord Kapila and his teachings? Canto 4, Canto 3, Canto 6, or Canto 5? So canto chapter 25 to chapter 32. What canto was that in Srimad Bhagavatam? The right answer is Canto 3. That's where you find about Lord Kapila's advent and his teaching. All right, so moving on to the 10th question. Kapila has described about pure devotional service as engaging our body, mind, and senses in the service of dash, in the service of friends, relatives, the Supreme Lord, or none of the above. Kapila has described about devotional service as engaging our... Yes, the right answer is the Supreme Lord. Here's the last but one question. After his father left to forest, Lord Kapila stayed on the banks of the river Dash, Manasa Sarovar, Krishna Sarovar, Rama Sarovar, or Bindu Sarovar. After his... Wonderful. That's the right answer is Bindu Sarovar. Okay, and here's the last question for today. What are the problems of material life? Birth, death, old age and disease, or all of them? Perfect. Okay, let's see who the top 5 are on the podium. Number 3, Tejas Krishna Prabhu. Number 2, Twisha. And the number 1 is Sai Lalita. Wonderful. And the runner-ups are Nasa and Lakshai. Congratulations
It's a
to...
surprise that Lucky didn't win first place because he always does.
Sorry?
I think today.
I
Sorry?
said Lucky didn't win because he always wins.
Okay. Well, that's
I did myself.
wonderful. Congratulations to all of you and all those who participated. We are going to have the same quiz again, but with more questions next week. Okay, kids? So just remember these answers. And as I told you, the task for this week is that, as Kapil Dev has instructed, you all have to talk to your parents and sit with them for 5 to 10 minutes and do a kirtan. And if possible, try to record that and post it in the kids group so that other kids can also do it with their family. Okay?
Rebo.
Okay, kids, we'll wrap it up for today's program. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to send more details about the registration for Ramanavami. So I wish to see you all participate in both the coloring contest as well as the video fancy spiritual dress competition. Okay.
I have a question about the coloring contest.
We'll talk about it next week, Trisha. Okay. We are running out of time. Okay. Once again, everybody, Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, and thank you,
Hare
Bas.
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you all the to all the Matajis.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Especially Sai Lalita Mataji. Especially her.
Okay, Hare Krishna, everybody. I'm ending the